So as this is our last episode in Season 1, we thought that we would share with you sort of our personal story as why we decided to go full-time on the road in an RV.
So we started out in Midland, Michigan, and we had a house that we had bought. We had property, we had even 2 horses.
Yeah, and we had a lot of stuff. We had a garage full of stuff and a house full of stuff, and
we both worked full-time corporate jobs to buy stuff.
I'm an electrical engineer.
And I worked in business IT.
And yeah, we were just kind of living a pretty normal life, I guess.
Yeah, but over several years that kind of grew into a slight discontentment. We were kind of ready for a change, we just weren't sure what that was.
The area that we were at didn't really have a ton to offer to what we like to do. We're very outdoorsy, adventurous type people, and
we didn't have any family in the area, so we had made some friends in the area, good friends that we really liked, but you know, we were still a long way from family.
That was the only thing tying us. There's nothing tying us down, I guess.
Right. And then our jobs were, you know, they were going well, but there were some things that were happening. Tom's company was going through a number of rounds of layoffs, which was pretty stressful.
I was a little just kind of worried about my job and just starting to think of the next thing. And although I made it through the layoffs, that little seed of maybe something different started to grow and become something different. And you as well were just not quite content with what you're doing. It wasn't what you wanted from the start, so you were starting to kind of think of something else as well. I think you maybe applied for a job in Oregon, right?
Yeah, I applied for a job in Oregon and in Colorado, but you know, we just really didn't know where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do, so it was very difficult to plan that next phase when we had no idea what we wanted. And if we did get another job in another location, we actually realized we hadn't done a lot of traveling outside of Michigan, and we didn't really know anywhere that we really want to settle down and make new roots in, because we just weren't very familiar with any other places.
So enter January 2014. My parents had rented a house down in Florida for a couple months, and we flew down to visit for a while, like a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. And had a great time in the sun and really enjoyed ourselves, and we flew back home to Michigan and we landed in a blizzard.
And then we drove 2 hours back home in said blizzard.
And along that drive we just started to really kind of discuss, like, why did we come back?
Why did we even come back?
This is awful, and I was probably a big part of that because I've really kind of started to dislike winter.
Yes.
A number of years before then, I really was disliking cold and snow, and coming from Florida, landing in a blizzard, I just was really unhappy.
So it started this conversation of, wouldn't it be great if we could be seasonal, be in the warm weather in the south during the winter and warm weather in the north in the summer.
It was like a joking conversation because we're young people that should be employed, and there's no way that we could do that. However, we drove by an RV dealership, and just as a joke almost, I pointed at it, said, "Hon, can't you buy one of those, live in it, and just, like, take it south when you want it?"
Yeah, I think your exact words were, "Don't people live in those?"
Did you live in one of those? So,
and
the conversation just kept going from there, and basically by the time we were home, we decided that that's what we were going to do. We were going to buy an RV and live in it. We'd never RV'd in our lives. We really didn't know anything about it.
But the conversation just was, it hit on a whole bunch of different things that we were having problems with. Well, so one, it was winter. We could avoid winter that way. Mm-hmm. 2, we didn't really know where we wanted to go. Well, we would just find the places we wanted to go.
Yeah, and then that would give us the opportunity to explore other places. We thought, well, we could go, test out this place in Oregon that we might get a job at and see if we like it.
So it would also help in the health category, because at the time, Tom was suffering from vitamin D deficiency from the long winters in Michigan, not seeing the sunlight.
Being inside all the time.
Being inside at his desk at his job all the time.
And then just the stress of work and not like moving or exercising ever in the winter. We just were stationary inside all the time. So,
and since we were already kind of thinking of starting our own business, going on the road would kind of force us to do that, because we had talked about, if we don't do it now, we won't ever do it. We won't ever break these chains of, safe, secure corporate jobs, and go off and do something on our own like we always wanted to.
So we were pretty set on this whole lifestyle change, and we figured that if worse comes to worse, it'll just be a sabbatical from life, and we'll learn something immense along the way.
Yeah, we were joking that we were going back to school for like real world experiences and learning.
So that moment, that drive home, then and there, was really why we decided to do this. And I mean, there were trials and tribulations along the way of actually getting on the road.
Yeah, a year and a half of them.
Yeah, and maybe we'll save that till maybe the next season. Maybe that'll be the season premiere, is how we got on the road. But we got home, we did do some research into this, and there were really only two couples that we found that were public about being on the road. It was the Winds and Technomadia. So thank you guys for your help, but that was about it. Aside from that, we'd never RV'd before. We didn't know anything about it. Our friends had a fifth wheel, and that's kind of why we started to think along the fifth wheels, and in short order we went out and bought a truck and fifth wheel, and that was it. So
it was kind of so that's our story of why we decided to RV. It was kind of a long time coming of discontentment and wanting a change, and then it just kind of landed in our laps, and we followed through with it.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching and joining us on this season of Mondays with the Mortons. We really enjoy having you along. We know we've got a lot of new subscribers with us now, so thank you so much for being part of this journey.
So we make these videos for you, so let us know if you have any questions or ideas of topics that we can talk about on this series.
And if you live on the road full time, let us know your story. We're curious to know why other people have gone on the road as well.
We'll see you next season.
Bye.
Bye.